I think we've just been hitting on the head already of like, what is your truth to you? Like, what is your purpose in that sense? And really seeking that out. I would rather live 1 year in knowing to pursue my purpose than 10 years and not knowing it. So, I mean, if it takes 9 years to find it, great. But make sure you're not looking at things that are fluid or changing, because your hunt will go on forever. It's like chasing the wind. You'll never catch it.
We've been talking about purpose a lot, and I think that that's really important to understand what your purpose is, what values you have in the military, how do you transfer those over, those kinds of things. But now let's step back and get super meta, because I think if we get into this concept of like what is my purpose, that is an existential debate for the ages. And how would you, if someone said, Jack, how do I find my purpose? What would you say?
Well, every single physical object around us that man has made is for a purpose. Right now, I'm looking at my computer. I'm looking at a cup. There's a door. There's this couch here. It is made for a purpose. I got a piano next to me. Apart from man, that piano has no purpose. So, in the same sense, apart from our creator, we have no purpose. That's why the debate can go on forever. What's the purpose of piano? Well, what's the purpose to an elephant? What's it to this thing? What's it to a sun? Like, it's we need to know our creator, and then we can know our purpose for which we were made, as all things are. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is don't be afraid to go really deep into that and question the things that no one questions.
If so, I'm a listener on this podcast. I go, wow, this Jack Worthington guy, real convincing dude. I'm interested in pursuing this deeper purpose that he talks about. Where would I go start? Like if you're face to face with this random podcast listener, where do they go to start looking for answers? If you were sitting right in front of them, what do you tell them to do?
First off, make sure they know like the big picture sense. Okay, when God made the perfect world, we're separated from Him. The whole plan that He has now, it's a rescue mission. Our life, He uses the saved to save others. He uses the redeemed to redeem others in that sense. So I've put on Christ, and I'm a soldier for Him in my whole life as I am helping to depopulate hell so I can populate heaven. And I'm going up against, enemy forces, whatever, in that same thing to save people in all that I do. So knowing that, okay, you got that big picture. Your purpose is to glorify God in that and help others to be saved. And He calls you because He loves you and He desires for you to be with Him. But now, as you're listening to this, like, man, Scripture is huge. Like, reading a Bible, looking at what it is. At Ranger School, they know the Ranger Manual. All right, well, learn your manual for, like, the soldiers who are actually saving people. Everyone who walks into a hospital is going to die, whether they're in the hospital, they die at that time or not. But not everyone has to experience a second death. So know that manual. Get connected with people who are pursuing God. And don't be afraid to step out and walk in that where you are. So
Okay, very cool. What yeah, I think that's it's great advice for people. I mean, at the end of the day, like understanding what your purpose is it's something that everyone is trying to figure out. And I think that this is a great recommendation for people to check out. Um, church, giving an opportunity to serve again, giving an opportunity to help others, to get into a community of people who all believe in a similar mission. Sounds a lot like the military.
Here's a big thing too with that
Yeah.
is you can go to churches and you'll find people who come, sit, listen, leave. Like it's just a thing they do.
Yeah.
don't fall into that. You were in the military. You were like desiring to pursue something. Find the people who are really pursuing the mission, and they then, as you walk with them, you can really experience the abundant life that God desires.
Yeah. Um, I've got two more questions for you. First one is, so you're talking about reading the Bible. Big book, lots of crazy stuff in it. Where would you tell someone who's never read the Bible, what's the one thing, like, open it up, read this thing. That's the one thing I want you to look at. What's it going to be?
I would just the book of Mark was the first one for me. It is the Gospels is the main focus of the whole Bible. The Old Testament all focuses on Jesus's. I'm sorry, yeah. The Old Testament all focuses on Jesus' life. There's four Gospels that hit on the same thing, and the epistles, which comes after, reflect on it. Mark is the shortest Gospel. So I was like, all right, give me the kernel. I want to look at that, read that, and then go from there. So if you want like the most centralized thing in Scripture about like the main point, seems to be Mark is and captures that well.